Morning, sir. You
Yes,
can hear
yes.
me.
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I want to thank you
Yes.
for coming up with us, and I want to appreciate you for at least to discuss a such as this. I say that it has been quite some time that I've been trying to track you down, but either I miss it or you miss the day we are meeting for the first. I want to appreciate you, wonderful person, and I know that you, when it comes to this aspect, you are very knowledgeable. Can you please tell our viewers, our subscribers, who you are and what you do?
Thank you, the moderator. I'm Dr. M.A. Badmos, Murtada Adegboyega Badmos, of the Department of Religious Studies at Ekiti State University at Ekiti. I teach Arabic literature and Islamic studies in the department.
Okay. I want to appreciate you for that introduction. And of course, you know what we've discussed, what we normally on this channel. But I must let you know that the channel, first of all, was made for tutorials. But as we get to meet some of these youths, a lot of them are getting involved in addictive, uh, either drugs or whatever that they are getting addicted to. So I felt something like this should be done so that we can address issues like this. Parents, even the students themselves, and every other group can listen to understand and have to at least these kind of challenges. I want you to let our viewers know what you understand. You are not an expert on the field. What you understand by addiction? What is addiction? And what does Islam say about addiction?
Islam is a way of life, as we used
Mm,
to claim and believe, because it touches every aspect of human life. So this
mm,
addiction is not left out. The
mm,
Quran talks extensively about it. The Prophet of Islam, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, also exemplified what should be done when it comes to this issue. I want to approach it from three perspectives, but let me go straight to what you asked, the question you asked.
mm,
Addiction simply means getting used to something unusually,
mm,
that if somebody does not get that benefit of that particular thing, it becomes less active, and it
mm,
becomes more active when it gets that thing. Addiction
mm,
may not be only be in the area of taking substance, taking this and that. It may even be in normal daily routine. So,
mm,
but as far as Islam is concerned,
mm,
one there's a by Allah Quran about getting addicted to alcohol and all kind of um, um, drinks that can change one's attitude to one's reaction to issues. It talks about khamru. Khamru means intoxicant. And you know, it is not only wine, it's not only liquor, it's not only drinks that can intoxicate, but it leaves a blank other things that are not mentioned here. For
mm,
example, cigarette. Cigarette is not intoxicating,
mm,
but as we come to it, it has its own negative effect. So it doesn't say that don't smoke cigarettes. There is no Quranic verse that says don't take tramadol, even opium and other things. But it gives it a general uh, instruction that whatever makes you act different from your normal natural way of doing things could be intoxicant. So, in essence, what I was saying is that opium could be intoxicant, substance could be intoxicants, even other things. People inhale gum, they inhale bones, that is bones from graves, they inhale that who holds out of burial ground or soak away. So, but what there are other things. Papaya leaves, so many things. All those ones are intoxicant. Okay, today we talk of colos, loud. I could remember in those days we used to call one capsule. They call it Chinese capsule. Then when you take it, you just act abnormally. All these. Then on another perspective, some of these addiction might not even be intoxicating, but they become bad when one cannot do without taking them. To take a bottle of Coke first thing in the morning. If they don't take it, they feel dejected. Some are used to taking malt and milk. I learned the medical expert said malt and milk has nothing to do with one's energy and strength. But we see people do it. Some people say take Coke and milk and the like. So, but by the time one gets used to it, if one feels weak like this, you don't take it, you will not be satisfied. People who like cold water will never be satisfied when they don't see cold water. Some people even are addicted to womanization, fornication, adultery, and other things. And they are never satisfied unless they get all these things. So these are forms of addiction. But as far as Islam is concerned, it has grades and their relatives. The ones that are dangerous to human life are the ones on other ones. It only moderately. And all these ones, the only Islamic terms and that is available in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is hawa. Hawa means selfish interest. That unless you get this, unless you get that, you will never be satisfied. That whoever trusts Allah, believes in Him, and fears Him, and prevents himself from hawa, from selfishness.
Hello? Hello? Okay.
They throw
But
it open, then I'll come and negative effects of addiction are the ways out. Shall I
but I
continue?
will want to continue, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay. When it comes to this addiction,
mm,
It is addiction is deceptive.
mm.
It gives one a very fake reality.
Yeah.
What you are very chilled cook.
Okay.
When you take, let's say, opium, it even diverts your attention from the
Okay.
normalcy to abnormalcy.
Okay.
Something you cannot ordinarily do, you do it with ease.
Yeah.
You feel at home. You feel on top of the world. Feel cool. That is the language of the youth. You feel
Mm,
cool. One other form of addiction which just come to mind is internet surfing, phone pressing, social media addiction,
mm.
sexual activities on the social media. Many parents have reported that their wards stay pressing phone for hours without even eating.
Mm,
They engage in scamming activities,
mm,
yahoo yahoo,
mm,
sexual scandals,
mm,
all forms of malpractices are
mm.
found online. There is what the
Okay.
youth calls internet sex.
Okay.
You can imagine. They will be at different locations, maybe not on the same continent,
Okay.
and get used to one another. So it's a form
Mm,
of, but it makes them cool, makes the addicted person cool, calm, and settled.
mm,
But immediately he is out of that activity, he
mm.
becomes uneasy, uncalm, sometimes violent
Okay.
to people around him or her. It applies to both male and females in the modern
Okay.
day. It's not only
Mm,
male, except that the
mm.
male addiction is more pronounced than the female ones.
Okay.
Even apart from that, there are even the physical addiction to sexual uh,
Mm,
stupidity and the like. Some people will be so addicted to sex that if they don't have sex in a day, they will not be normal. We have heard of girls, even when they're on their periods, they have to find a way of getting it done. So these are all forms of addiction. So at the end of the
addict.
day, the addiction moves one from the gradual one to more advanced forms of addiction. I told you, some of those
Mm,
addictions are not uh, are actually negative. We have only
o-
mentioned majorly the negative ones. Okay, somebody taking cold water, but
okay.
it also has its own negativity because it tells on the health. That is the issue itself. On the health,
o-
most addicted people who have terminal diseases affecting their kidneys, their lungs,
mm,
even their skin and other functionality of the system. Because the analogy is this: it's like they have overstretched their system.
Okay.
Let us come to a layman approach. Maybe somebody's supposed to eat 2 wraps of eba
Mm,
in a day,
mm,
and he starts eating 10. After some
mm,
time, starts eating 20. If it is,
mm,
let's look at it spiritually. If God decreed that
mm,
the person is going to eat 10 million wraps of eba,
mm,
he's exhausting it by the day,
mm,
by the hour, and by the minute. So it
mm,
means after exhausting everything, he will have nothing to eat until he dies. So definitely, if
mm,
somebody has a lifespan of 50 years and takes
mm,
substance or addicted to something that reduces it, that's a
mm,
negative effect. In most cases, addiction may not add to one's life, may not add any glamour to one's life, but ruin one in most cases. Somebody who's addicted to women, manizer, or I don't know whether there's a manizer. Anyway, somebody is also addicted to men, to sex. So it reduces, they become older than their age outwardly. Inwardly, their systems become imperfect,
Okay.
and some of them may have to die out of the effect of this. So even when, like the Quran rightly says, it said,
Mm,
keep away from intoxicants. That's
mm,
the one that is going to be the arrowhead.
mm, mm.
Is quite lesser than this disadvantage. Somebody who is addicted to substance has its own benefit from it. He can speak, he can be bold,
Mm.
he can act where he should be afraid. But at the end of the day, the negative effect is massive, and it will end up ruining him, ruining his system, his life, and all those. Many addicted persons do not have time to read, to study, to learn.
Mm.
They don't want to learn. I overheard from the uh, technical people, technicians,
Mm.
that young ones, whose parents cannot afford to send to school,
Mm.
cannot learn. They cannot be apprentices
Mm.
any longer, apprentices any longer,
Mm.
because they need to suffer
Mm.
at work before they can become masters, and nobody is
Okay.
interested. But I've even at a mechanic workshop, I overheard young mechanic apprentices saying that, hey, Oluowa Abishema ó ti ń lọ ṣe Yahoo.
Mm.
That is, Olu has not been coming to work. He has decided to be doing to become a fraudster, online fraudster, which we tag as Yahoo in our own
Mm.
environment here. So I've even heard that one of them was uh, lucky enough to jam some money, and he had to buy a car for his master, both for his father, both for his mother, and for his master. That's another thing.
Mm.
How can
Hello? 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 Getting the network is quite bad. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
to the father? Hello?
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
A situation whereby they show the yes,
Okay, you can hear me.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to ask you one question. What does Islam
Yes,
say
sir.
about where I'm talking of eternal life now? Where would an addicted person go
Okay.
to in terms of the Quran? Where would an addicted person? Where would
Okay,
they?
sir.
Mm,
As far as Islam is concerned, as long as his addiction or addictions do not fall into the categories of the ones that are prohibited by Allah, he has no
mm,
problem with Allah. If
mm,
he doesn't take intoxicants, maybe Allah will not punish anybody who is only addicted to water, to cold water, or to chilled
mm,
Mortina, or to
mm,
soaking gari in very cold water with milk and sugar. He
Hmm.
will only suffer for the sickness or ailment that emanates from his addiction. But it is not uh, stated in the Quran that anybody who soaks gari in cold water has committed sins against Allah. But anybody that takes intoxicant will actually see, will not see the favors of Allah. So
Okay. Thank you.
the addiction, as far as Islam is concerned, is based on what type of addiction. Does it
What
correspond
type of
to
addiction?
the
Okay.
prohibited form of things in Islam?
If so, from what I can get you say now, if the addiction is has to do with alcohol, the person will get internal damnation. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, sir.
If it's
Not only
about
alcohol, not only alcohol
okay,
substance that
any
can,
substance that is intoxicant.
yes, that can intoxicate.
Okay. How
Otherwise,
about
otherwise, he will have himself to be blamed. But there is another Quranic injunction that say, "Wala talqu anfusakum ila tahluka." Don't plunge
mm,
yourself into destruction. That one has to do with
mm,
the smokers. You know, until recently, there are on cigarette packets that smokers are liable.
mm,
That is why Muslims are all over the world, even in Saudi Arabia, other places, they smoke. But they
mm,
know that if they have lung cancer or kidney problem, that is their own cup of tea.
okay,
But the Quran does not say that they should not smoke.
okay, okay. Okay, the Quran does not smoke. Sir,
Yes, it doesn't prohibit anybody from. The only prohibition is if you smoke M's. It's only dangerous, but it doesn't intoxicate.
okay. To it.
With one instance, during fasting period, some years back, they were Sudanese. They were also about 6 of them.
Mm,
Immediately, it was time to break fast in the evening. Immediately,
mm,
they hear the call to prayer and
mm.
they sip some water. The first thing they went to do was to pick their cigarettes. You know, that's a form of addiction. And I was looking at them. Even they pointed to me that I smoke. I said, no, I don't smoke.
Mm,
So it was after they smoked that they started taking food. So they have been addicted to it.
okay.
But
How
for
about
somebody who is addicted to coffee or to tea, it's not a form of prohibition by Islam. So let him go ahead. As long as it's good for him, no
how about
problem.
sex? How about sex? Sir, how about sex? What happens to
Okay.
the person
If
addicted
it
to
comes
sex?
to sex,
Mm,
if it is sex, there's a limitation which Islam sets.
mm.
Somebody has a Muslim man has the opportunity of marrying up to 4 wives. If
Okay.
somebody wants to be addicted and he has to engage in sex with his 4 wives,
Mm,
I think it should be okay for him. But
okay.
he should be ready to take the financial responsibility.
Okay. Okay.
Having custody of 4 wives is not a small financial responsibility. So
Okay.
as long as he can do that, but we have also heard, like I heard a case from a magistrate court or thereabout in Kaduna recently.
Mm,
A
mm.
woman decided to live her matrimonial life because he complained that her husband was too addicted to sex. Anytime, anyhow, anywhere, and she said she could not cope again. But some people also use sexual enhancement substance. That's another thing. But if it is natural and he can cope and he has the money and the women he is married to can also cope, then the better for them. The other way around, there are also women who may have to leave their matrimonial home because the husband they believe cannot satisfy them. They need, we don't have to hide. There are form of sex that the young ones engage in. Situation whereby two men or three men will be on a single lady among youngsters. These are the realities of our time.
But
We
I
cannot run
know
away from.
I'm so sure that Islam does not support such. Islam does not
I
support such.
pardon.
I said I'm sure that
Yes, of
Islam does
course.
not support such.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
In fact, Islam does not support anybody having sexual activity with a lady or a woman that he is not married to. If it's a married man, that is, there is difference between fornication and adultery. So
Yes.
fornication is for married woman, adultery are for fact.
I want to ask how in this Islamic organization, how do you help those who are addicted? How do you help them out? What do the mosque recommend for those people? Do you have a rehabilitation center, or how do you do it? How do you try to help
Yes,
people out? People who
yes.
are addicted.
We have we have some Muslim scholars who specialize in them and will recommend prayers and they will give them guidelines as long as will be removed and it will not stay again because it is in at the spiritual realm everything has a spiritual interpretation. So even when you have medical attention, you can still add spiritual cure to it. Some are they are drunk they drink it from time to time, and they attend uh, spiritual sessions whereby those spirits will be evoked out of their system, and they will be free to live. But that is it is not automatic. The first thing is that the affected person will agree to follow the guidelines. Is one of my areas of specialization, you know, spirituality, though it has dimensions. The bold heading is Sufis. But most
Okay.
people who engage it, they are people who are deeply rooted in prayers and spirituality in Islam. And they are people of pure character, moral, whatever. So they can evoke the spirit of those uh, uh, agents and send them away from the body system of the affected persons.
Okay. So it's more to the organization is more of spiritual than maybe the normal physical medical system that we sometimes use to treat addiction. Is it spiritual, more spiritual, or you use other medical, the physical medical, the medicines to treat them?
spiritual approaches. But
Okay.
then, after the rehabilitation, there are every
Mm.
tendencies that the addicted person can revert back to his old practices. That is when spiritualism comes in. It is spiritualism
Okay.
and constant attempt to spiritual activities that will assist him in
Okay.
distancing himself from that thing and not going back to it. So that is where spirituality really. But there are handful of my handle the situations enough. So some medical experts will even tell you that you may have to go a bit spiritual about this issue, because if they have exhausted all their um, orthodox ways of handling it, and the thing is not going. So that is just it.
Mm.
Not to be taking a particular thing, and
Mm.
the person is discharged and is also attracted back into that thing, and he goes back to it. The thing relapses and comes back.
Mm.
But if one can be religious, can
Mm.
adhere religiously to lay down rules and regulations, they will have a little spiritual need to just have to say, "Ah, God, let me be able to keep myself away from this my old practices." That is where spiritualism will come in. But most of these
Okay.
things, I can bet you, they are uh, psychological, psychiatric, physical, social ills in our society. All this one is a social ill.
Mm.
It wasn't that pronounced. In fact, it will interest you to know or note that with all these things we are saying, the Muslim communities should have been
Mm.
freed of all these things. But if you look
Mm.
at the statistics of substance taking addiction in Nigeria, you see that is concentrated in most time in Muslim uh, uh, inhabited environments. And this is because they know the pure prohibition. Don't take wine, don't take alcohol, don't take ogugoro, don't take chiman. But they will be taking
Mm.
tramadol that is not stated in the Quran that you should not take. They will be smoking because
Mm.
everybody wants to just add in, they think it's glamour to their life.
Mm.
They cannot alcohol. There's another example of some Muslims I meet at
Mm.
some point, like I think they were from Bangladesh, people from that axis, maybe
Mm.
Bangladesh, India, and so Pakistan. They take
Mm.
one particular thing. The thing is like the tobacco that our women do take here. If they will put it on their tongues, but it will make
Mm.
their tongues and their lips red. That's um, what do you call it? Yellowish red. And I was told that they shouldn't swallow the saliva generated with this thing, because if they take
Oh.
it, it is toxic. But they
Mm.
keep doing it. You see their teeth very reddish brown, their tongues. They wrap it in ewegbegbe. I don't know the English name of ewegbegbe. Many of us know that,
Mm.
which they used to put the women tobacco. You remember that is grinded with what is count potassium,
Mm.
all those things. They also take something like that, and they are Muslim communities. You know, the Quran does not uh, prohibit this. Maybe everybody just want to get high in one way
Mm.
and in
Mm.
a more halal way that is not prohibited. I even
Mm.
learned in some countries, there are some countries that have some leaves just like cannabis, but it's not cannabis. That is being prohibited. But in the
Mm.
environment where they grow where those leaves kind of crops leaves are the homeland to others. They use it by the time they take it, they use it on their farmlands, and they can
Mm.
make many heaps. They can cultivate more lands. So the country of that the country and the government of that country now said that in that area it is not unlawful because they know they use it for farming. But outside that area, people who use it to hide to hide themselves. So
Okay.
God has created a lot of things which we delve into and we use it either to our detriment or to our usefulness.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I want to ask you something that has to do with law now. What does the Sharia law say to someone who is addicted? What does the law say? The Sharia law. Did you get
The
what I'm
for the
saying?
I understand you. For those that are
Mm.
explicitly prohibited in Islam, there are laws. Anybody that takes alcohol will be given lashes or strokes of the cane.
The
But
lashes,
for other
how many?
lashes, sorry, it's like 30.
30. Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
So, but I'm not too sure. I'm sorry about that
Yeah.
because Sharia law is very explicit. If one makes mistake, don't feel shy to say that it's a mistake. Let
Mm.
me say they will be given lashes.
Mm.
It's just these are just to reprimand them, to just
o-
let them stay away from it. It is neither to kill them or to get rid of them. To let
Okay.
them know. To let somebody know, and it will be made in the public. It has its
Okay.
implication. When it is done in the public, the person will feel shy, and they'll say,
Mm.
"That's the person that was given strokes of cane yesterday," so that one will
Mm.
not go back there. It is not
Mm.
more than that. So,
Okay.
but they are also to be one of the consequences because we are talking of the negative effect on their health
Okay.
system, on their social status, and the likes.
Mm.
So that is,
Okay.
but if it is not the about intoxication, there is nothing they can, if it is disturbing the person and is taken to a Sharia court, it will only be advised that if you abide by this, you stay longer. If you don't abide, then shortening your lifespan.
Mm. Thank you,
That's
sir.
it.
Then there's one aspect I want you also to go back to. The other time you were saying that if a man is addicted to sex, that if he has about 4 wives, he should be satisfied with those four. If it's the other way around, if it's a woman that is now addicted, what do you recommend?
And there are so many cases and there are
Mm.
social problems.
Mm.
I'm not, I'm not a Sharia
Okay.
lawyer or
Mm.
a magistrate or whatever.
Mm.
Then bear in mind the fact that we live in a modern world.
Mm.
I have heard of cases like that. One of my
Mm.
friends during his NYC year
Mm.
served in a ministry where a lady was brought. The
Mm.
parents were being the parents could not move around the area they lived in Lagos because
Mm.
almost all young boys have slept with their female ward.
Mm.
So they dragged her to the Ministry of the Social Welfare. My friend told me that in the process of treating her, the agency had to invite because if he doesn't have sex, if she didn't have
Mm.
sex, they will not rest.
Mm.
They now allow her to space it instead of having it every day. Maybe they start with every other day, and after sometimes every 3 days, after sometimes every 4 days, after sometimes every week, then after
Mhm.
sometimes after every month. I
Mm.
think with that they were treating her until she was able to keep herself. Because I've also heard of a wayward girl who
mm,
staying with somebody, with a family member, and they
mm,
stopped her thinking that they have rehabilitated her. And she didn't do it for a very long time because she didn't even have the
mm,
time. She was not allowed to go out. Whenever she goes out, she
mm,
was monitored. One day they sent her to go and buy matches box. How many
mm,
minutes does it take to buy a matches box?
mm,
This girl had sex with somebody and she became pregnant.
mm,
When they were finding out, she said when they asked her, he met one of his normal guys and the
mm,
one just dragged her to the back of a a cabin, what do you call this porter cabin.
mm,
And within 5 minutes, the guy had sex with her, and that was what brought about the pregnancy.
mm,
So that is the problem with addiction.
mm,
I know that the medical expert, psychiatric expert, psychological, all those things, they know what they can do. Just like they have treatment and the way they rehabilitate people who are addicted with substances, they have
mm,
ways. I think one of the ways which Islam has prescribed is that ladies at right age should be allowed to get married. By
mm,
the time they experience it without being married, they want to do it more and more. And
mm,
before they knew it, they become addicted to it. But if such a lady at that age has a husband,
mm,
like every other person, when she starts having it, after sometimes she will get
mm,
used to it. This is a normal
mm,
thing.
mm. Hello? Uh, Hello? Oh, the network has been quite bad, and it's an interesting topic which I would have loved us to. Let's see. Well, we'll try and get Doctor back for the lecture. Uh,